Hello, Ivan. We are today with Ivan, who is an author of Jules Verne game, and to talk about a bit how it is set up. So, hi again.
Hi, Lisa. I'm Ivan, and I work in Loquiz as a game expert, and I decided to build this Jules Verne game to provide to every Loquiz users, and this is based on my passion. I love reading Jules Verne, and yeah, I'm happy to share this today with you.
Thank you. Can you tell briefly what the game is about?
Briefly, the game is about traveling the world from France to a Pacific island to save people who are the other side of the world. And you will have a dilemma. You will have to choose whether you want to go to the east or to the west. And once you make your choice, you will have even more choices about the different vehicles that you want to take, the vehicle that appear in Jules Verne stories. And depending on the choice, you will have to work more or less with your game, with your device.
So this game takes people indoor and outdoor. And I imagine creating this took time. So how many hours did it take for you to create and test this final version of the game?
That's a difficult question because I'm passionate about creating games, and I didn't even count how many hours I was on it because I made a lot of tests with myself. I made a lot of adjustment, so it took me even more hours. So I would say maybe roughly 50 or 100 hours. And yeah, actually I don't know, but let's say 50 to 100.
Okay, that's a fair amount of time.
Yeah.
I have actually played the game and I enjoyed it a lot. And I took the route through Earth. But I know the game features also a second path I did not experience, but my co-players told me about. So how did you make sure that the both routes are equally developed, challenging, and entertaining?
What I did, from the beginning, I really wanted to make sure that the two were equivalent. So I started making the first pass, and I started getting the feedbacks for this pass before I would start making the second. And on the second, I was using the same structure as the first, with the same distance and the same type of riddles and occurrence. And then in the end, I was playing outside with two devices, and I was comparing the two with the distance it takes and the difficulty of the riddles.
Okay, but who do you had in mind when building the game? Who is the target group, or who is the best game suitable for?
I had mainly in my mind people who are fans of Jules Verne, and knowing it's the second most translated author in the history. The first is Agatha Christie, and the third is Shakespeare. Then I assume that a lot of people would fit in this persona, in this type of people who would enjoy this game. And then in a wider way, I was also imagining people who enjoy reading stories, enjoy reading books. So, for example, this is why in this game I put a little bit more text than the others, having this type of person in mind.
Okay, but does it suit a certain age group, or it is suitable for, for school kids and for adults alike?
Yeah, in fact, it's there is a big debate about Jules Verne. A lot of people say that Jules Verne might be more for the young people. if not the school students. But if you read, you can feel that there are many subtle ideas in histories that can be grasped by the adults. And in the end, I would say it's quite wide. It's quite wide population who can enjoy Jules Verne. And Jules Verne himself was saying that his great regret was to only have was the fact that he was only targeting children and not himself, but more the editor, because the editor saw that in a marketing way. Because even in the 19th century, there was some marketing, and they saw that it was the best target to bring him successful, which worked. And all of this to tell that it could be played by school children from a teacher, or it can be played by a group of friends who enjoy sharing what they read. It can also be played by people who are in their active life, who are 30, 40, 50, 60, and they want to play the Jules Verne game from the book they read in their young age.
Okay. But let's imagine someone has just started Loquiz and is watching this video and they're on their trial. Can they set up the game and let their colleagues play or friends play? How much effort does it take to actually to get playing without all of the setup?
To give a quick answer, I would say if we count the fact that the person is totally stranger to Loquiz, it may take 10 minutes to start the account, to start the game from the template, and then to use the device and scan so they can start. And I would say, at this point, the Loquiz team, the Loquiz developer, made an amazing work at trying to make it simpler for people to get in the platform and to try the games template, because these are templates that you can take and play right away, and then to play immediately. And I also know that there are some great improvements that are upcoming in this way. It's a back-end platform that will be even simpler to handle, to start even faster a Jules Verne game.
Okay, but a bit about the content. What is your favorite task in the game, or the question, or something you really like yourself and are proud about?
That's I could think for quite a long time to choose one task that fits me, but if I had to say my very favorite is one of the paths that is quite optional. It's the path when you want to go to Florida, to South America, to Kourou. You have two possibilities. Either you take the submarine or you take the plane. Which one did you take?
I don't actually remember. I think I took a submarine.
And in this way, that is my favorite task, the submarine, because in the story, you will figure it out if you play, for those who listen to us. If you notice, on the submarine and plane choice, but no boats, because it's a Bermuda Triangle, and boat cannot go through there, as since months, a lot of boats are mysteriously disappearing, and perhaps thinking in the seas of the Caribbean. And then when you take the submarine, you meet the Count of Artigas, who's quite a shady man with his submarine, and he invites you to be in the in his undersea, his boat that goes undersea. And there are a lot of clues in the task that tells you that it's dangerous. For example, your partner is telling you that you may be in an iron coffin that is moving underwater, and then you discuss with him. In the task, you show some picture of the sunk boat, of some of the sunk boats that are even from the 18th century. And at some point, you make a mistake saying that, understating that some of the boats are there because of him. And then you realize that you are with the responsible of all these sunk boats, but I made it so that I don't tell it directly, but I create a way to make people afraid that it could be this without telling it directly. And then I put some picture of a creepy face looking at you, staring at you, and writing down, will you arrive alive? So this is my favorite task. And if I could take a second favorite task, I would say there is one when you are taking the train to the west side because you want to go to Turkey to get inside the volcano, because you can, according to Jules Verne, you can move between volcanoes thanks to underground ocean. You have to first go to Istanbul. You can represent yourself Turkey, Istanbul. And at the other side of Turkey, near Syrian border, you have the Karaka Dağ volcano. But if you're in Istanbul, there is something that you need to do. You need to cross the bridge to reach the other side of the Bosphorus. And you have the choice to not to pay the tax. And you say to the policeman that taxation is theft. And then I mentioned about one of the, let's say, comical story of Jules Verne, who says, who tells the story about a man who walks around the Black Sea because he doesn't want to pay the tax. So these are my two favorite tasks.
Thank you for a thorough overview. Do you have any future plans building similar games? Can you give us a sneak peek about future ideas you are working on?
I'm actually working on the idea that use the same feature, that is the odometer. The common goal between the two is to bring an outdoor game, so people can have a story that bring them outside and that make them walk and even do some task. So now I'm actually considering a story about being some kind of a monster hunter. So you have to first, in this indoor part, you have to prepare yourself, choose the best equipment, and then once you're ready, then you go to the wild, which is in other terms when you go outside. And then when you are outside, you have to do some task and walk aimlessly to try to spot some monsters, and you have some clues about where the monster could be, and you have to find some clue, I forgot the word in English for this. You know, when you have a trail from the animal or monster, and when you succeed, you are facing the monster that can be a dragon, for example, and you can decide to fight it, to capture it, or to leave it. And then you will have a number of points according to the monster that you captured. So this is what I'm working on currently.
To me, it sounds it engages both your physical body to move and actually your fantasy and mind to immerse into the game. So you're combining two good things: movement and your imagination.
I would say it's that harness can be lame to move, to go outside, and it's difficult to motivate ourselves to even to walk. So if behind you add a storytelling, a storyline, then you can activate your mind, and then your body will follow.
That is very clever. I look forward to playing it. Then I would like to ask you a few last questions. Is there anything you would like to point out about this game I didn't ask?
What I would like to point out is that this game is out there, but I never consider that it's fully finished, and I always consider that there can be some improvement or even some new riddles. And for those who listen to us, I would enjoy if you start playing the game and you play it alone or with your friends, your family, your coworkers. And then I would enjoy if you could send us some feedbacks so I could have some ideas about how to improve it even more.
Okay, but what would you say to anyone who is still hesitating to set up such an adventure game for their occasion?
To someone who's still hesitating, I would say that they can have a whole experience, a whole story where they can become a character. Like the book, which you are the character. I don't know if you played this, Lisa, in your childhood, but I did a lot. But this is even more interactive. It involves some real-life tasks that immerse you even more. So if you want to immerse yourself in a story, you have to try this. And the second thing I would say is that it doesn't take much time to set up a game for yourself. You can even play this anywhere because it only takes into account the distance that you make. And the third thing that I would add is that when you play this game, you have to keep in mind that everything that is in the game, you can make it yourself, because Loquiz offers you the possibility to create anything you want in terms of story or content. And you have to play this if you already have some ideas or story that you want to then create for yourself and that you want to create for your family or your relative. So you can use these Jules Verne games to give yourself some inspiration for your own game creator ability. Get inspiration, a lot of inspiration.
So this might spark someone's creativity and their own ideas after trying this. Okay, but
exactly.
So that was my last question. So thank you for finding time to have this short interview, and I look forward to seeing next games and other cool stuff you have coming up.
It was a great pleasure, and again I would say if you have some feedbacks, please forward to me, and if you have some questions, I'm also available for those who listen to us.
Thank you, and have a good day. Bye.
Have a great day. Bye. Thank you.